G Central is reporting that Casio is releasing a brand new PROTREK watch, the PRJ-B001. This is all according to G Central. Casio is introducing the all-new PROTREK hiker line with the launch of the PRJ-B001 series in July, which will be the lightest PROTREK series ever, as the 001 in the name suggests. This series takes a noticeably different approach to the PROTREK lineup and offers a somewhat minimalist design with scaled back functions and a unique exterior. All right, so I don't know where G Central got this information. I guess they're breaking this news, right? And so PRJ-B001. Most the PROTREKs that I've seen, they're either PRW or PRG. The PRWs have the multi-band 6 and the PRGs do not, okay? And so this is totally different. This is PRJ, and it does not have multi-band 6 from what I can tell. But reading the article some more, it says the octagonal bezel rotates 45 degrees counterclockwise to reveal access to the buttons, which are usually protected from accidental pressing in the guarded position. This watch is equipped with tough solar power and Bluetooth smartphone link, but it does not have the triple sensor that PROTREK watches are typically known for. Is it really a PROTREK? It doesn't have the triple sensor. Is it really a PROTREK? Honestly, all right, I'm wearing the Rangeman now, the GPR H1000, and you look right there, it's a sensor for the altimeter, the barometer, and the compass. And that technology is shared with the previous generation of the Rangeman. And from what I understood, it was in all PROTREKs. Casio is taking a giant step backwards. Again, they're taking a giant step backwards. No ABC sensors on this PROTREK watch. Do you really think it's a PROTREK? Let me grab my PROTREK. I do have a PROTREK. This is the PRW 3500, and it's dead now. You can tell it's been a while since I've worn it, but this is a really popular watch, and my video about it is very popular. And a lot of guys are buying this. They're very happy with it because this is a PROTREK, but they built it a little tougher than the regular PROTREK, so it has 200 meters of water resistance. And I think this is a pretty good one. It has a metal bezel too, which is raised to protect the screen. These PRJs, they look chintzy. I mean, I'm just looking at the pictures. We'll keep on looking at this article. Yeah, they look cool, all right, but no ABC sensors. And I don't want to go on a rant on this video. I'm going to try to rein it in, but it probably has, like, the timer only goes to 60 minutes, and the typical steps backwards, right? All right. So G Central saying the full specifications have not been released yet. The usual functions found on Bluetooth-equipped G-Shock watches are expected to be available, such as auto time correction, time and place log, auto summertime switching, 300 city world time, phone finder, and possibly more. Other known features include 100 meter water resistance, low temperature resistance, world time, stopwatch, timer, alarm, and double LED light. Okay, and the bezel rotates to protect the buttons. Okay, so on the G-Shock watches, their buttons are protected. The case provides protection from incidental and accidental pressing of the buttons. Okay, so this PROTREK watch, the top bezel rotates. It looks like it rotates 45 degrees based on the pictures, and that will guard the buttons, according to gcentral.com. All this is according to gcentral.com, all right? According to them, the watch measures 50 by 3 millimeters by 46 by 13.6 millimeters. The 3 debut models include the black PRJ-B001-1, off-white PRJ-B001-7, and blue PRJ-B001B-2. All right, we're going to look at that last one I just mentioned, the P001B-2. Looks a little interesting, right? It has an interesting band. It says the bungee cord band is said to be easier to put on and take off, particularly when wearing the watch over outerwear clothing or attaching it to bags or equipment. That's right, it has bungee cords on the band. All right? All right. It says they're expected to come to Japan in July with a tax-included price of 25,300 yen. So what is that, like $300? All right. The series is likely to be released internationally, but has not been announced in other countries yet. And so here's the black one. And okay, right away, all right, this has the LCD screen. It's an Anti-Digi watch. It has an LCD screen in the bottom right corner that looks a lot like the GA 2100 series, okay? So here's a picture of the GAB 2100, and it has the LCD, you know, in between the 3 o'clock position and the 6 o'clock position, all right? And it's like, and it's diagonal, okay? So you'd figure that in an Anti-Digi watch, they'd put the digital portion horizontally across the bottom, like, you know, like below the 9 to 3 o'clock, like below the hands. But with the 2100, the Casio designed this G-Shock to rotate that screen slightly. So it's just in between the 3 o'clock and the 6 o'clock position, right? And so it's double stacked in terms of the digital display, right? So you look at the PRJ-B001, it's the same exact thing in terms of the orientation. The shape is a little bit different. It looks like it's a little bit smaller. And, you know, like getting real nitpicky, the seconds on the GA 2100 is on the top part of the LCD, and then on the new PROTREK, the PRJ-B001, the seconds are on the bottom row. Okay, yeah, I'm really good at comparing and contrasting. Okay, but the thing is, like, okay, Casio, they just rip themselves off all the time. All right, like you look at all these watches that are total ripoffs of each other. Like I've showed you before, like the Mudman, right, is a ripoff of the AE 1500. You would think that the Mudman would come out first, and then the AE 1500 would rip it off, because the AE 1500 is the Casio watch and the Mudman is the G-Shock watch. But the AE 1500 came out first, and so it's like the Mudman ripped off the AE 1500. But they're both Casio, right? G-Shock owns Casio. G-Shock owns PROTREK. So they're all ripping each other off. It's like, like what would it be like to work at Casio? You know, like like people be ripping you off all the time. Like they're just ripping each other off. Like the break room, the refrigerator in the break room, like a Casio engineer would come in, put his lunch in the refrigerator in the break room, all right? And then a PROTREK engineer would come in, steal his lunch, you know, shuffle around the sandwich, add ingredients, add pickles to the sandwich, you know, take off some meat, you know, put on some, like, I don't know, mayonnaise, and then put it back in the fridge, where the G-Shock engineer would come in, steal that lunch, take a bite, you know, put on more meat, put on so much meat that you can hardly even hold the sandwich, you know, take a few bites, put it back in the fridge, a Casio engineer comes back, etc., etc. They're all just ripping each other off, right? It's amazing. Maybe they call it borrowing. I don't know. But the other thing that this watch, the PRJ-B001, steals from is another of the PROTREKs. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is, the PRW 6900. Okay, look at this. This is a really interesting watch. I was considering getting the PRW 6900. I wasn't sure whether the band would be big enough, because the first iteration of the PRW 6900 had a leather band, like a leather strap, and I was like, that's weird. I mean, It's supposed to be like a hiking, camping watch. I swim whenever I go camping, so why would you have a leather band? And it turns out that leather was chosen because of its fire resistance. Okay, and the PRW 6900 is really cool. We'll take a deeper dive into that one another time. There's a lot of really cool features on it, but see how the shape of the watch is rectangular. It's like Tank's greatest creation, the Cartier, right? The Cartier Tank, and that it's a little more narrow of a rectangular shape. Okay, that's closer to the width of the band. But notice the shape. It has like these beveled edges. And I believe that the intention was to make the PRW 6900, like the overall shape, kind of look like an axe in terms of it, the multiple bevels on it and the metal, okay? But when you look at the PRW 6900 with its shape and the bevels on the bezel, and then you look right back to the PRJ-B001, this brand new PROTREK, I mean, look at the similarities, right? There's influence there. All right, so maybe Casio's not ripping themselves off. Maybe they're just influencing each other, right? They're all highly influenced by each other. Okay, and so the black one, it's not like a really dark black. It's kind of carbon, I guess they'd call it nowadays. And the hands on this one, unlike other G-Shock watches, they're rounded off at the tip, okay, and that too looks a little bit like the PRW 6900, whose hands are supposed to look like knives, like camping knives, kind of, and but these hands on the PRJ-B001, they're rounded off. The minute hand's a little bit thicker, okay? And so this black color is the -1 iteration, and -7 is this beige color that looks like an 80s computer, like an Apple II, right? An Apple IIe. Or maybe a Commodore 64. So it has that beige 80s computer color with some of that dark gray accents, and then there's a little bit of yellow, right? There's yellow on that subdial, and the subdial kind of looks 8-bit. It looks like an 8-bit candy corn, kind of, right? And so the subdial does not point to the day of the week like it does on the GA2100, which is the G-Shock Casio. That subdial points to the day of the week. The GAB2100, which is the Bluetooth equipped version of the Casio, they switched over for the subdial pointing at the functions, okay? The PRJ-B001 follows what the GAB2100 had, which is that subdial pointing at the function. So you have the Bluetooth, where there's a Bluetooth connection, high, medium, low for the battery, and then the time, world time, stopwatch, timer, and alarm. All right, those are all the little things that subdial points at. All right, and so the black one and the beige one have bands that pretty thick, right? That's one thing I like about the PROTREKs, is that the bands, they're closer to the 24 millimeter width, which I think is like 7/8 of an inch. So they're nice and thick, right? And most of the bands are pretty long, so they fit big wristers. Now look at this brand new GA2300, and it has this integrated type of strap adapter. It looks like the lugs on the brand new GA2300. They look like Casio added a strap adapter, which a lot of people do. The JZK strap adapter, especially big wristers wanting to add an aftermarket band that's bigger, right? And so that style is right there on this brand new PROTREK. It has the what looks like strap adapters already on there in a nice thick band. Okay. Now this blue one the PRJ-B001B-2 has this really funky strap. At first I looked at it and I was like, is that like a bungee strap? And because you could see bungee cord on this picture on G Central, and I was like, nah, ProTrek wouldn't do that. It's probably so that you can hang it on your backpack. Like I've seen some ProTreks that don't have bands that you wear the watch on your wrist. You just clip it on your backpack, right? But then on the second picture, you see that it's actually designed that the bungee, there's a strap and a bungee and some type of attachment that can get this strap on your wrist. And so, from what I understand in reading the article, this is if you're climbing a mountain, you have a big puffy jacket, you can wear your watch over your puffy jacket, and you can put it on and take it off. Okay, and maybe over a wetsuit, or somewhere. You could get creative, I guess. If you're small, you could wear it on your ankle. This new watch is an anklet, right? And it's easy on and easy off. So that looks pretty cool. And just based on the color, I like the black color. I like the beige color. I don't think I could pull off or would wear the beige color, but I do think that it looks cool. I don't think I would wear the beige color. I don't think it matches my skin color that well. The black one, I think would be the one, the color wise I like. But man, you know what? I'm really tempted to buy this blue one, which has the bungee cord band. I don't know if it would go out long enough for my big wrister, but if it's designed to fit over a sleeve or a sleeve of a jacket, I would assume that it can go out pretty big. And so that maybe they'll release it in the United States. Maybe we'll have enough money in the budget to buy it, try it out, take a look at it, and then go from there. Okay, but it does not look to be extremely rugged. It doesn't look like a really tough watch. It seems like in the ProTrek, Casio kind of tones back the durability versus their higher end G-Shock watches, and that's why I think that the PRW 3500, is an anomaly because of its metal bezel and the 200 meters of water resistance makes this particular ProTrek a little bit tougher. But this brand new ProTrek, of course, I'm not happy at all about the Bluetooth, them going to Bluetooth. I would prefer watches that do not have Bluetooth, which is why I like the Mudman so much, the GW 9500. And despite that, I do wear the Rangeman and the GBDH 2000 of the G-Shock line. Those are fitness watches. So what kind of functionality could they add with Bluetooth to the ProTrek? Well, given that ProTrek is intended for hiking and for camping, maybe it has trekking. It could have trekking, right? The what type of app integration it has. Like, I thought that Casio was bringing all of their watches to the Casio Watches app, and then I stumbled upon a brand new G-Shock, the GBD 300, on the international website of Casio, and that was going back to the Casio Move app. So will ProTrek get its own app that has functionality that will be useful for hiking or camping, such as weather alerts or keeping track of your hiking? I don't know. We shall see, but at least we should expect, I think it would be safe to say, it would probably have some type of time correction and maybe a relay of notifications, at least in terms of beeping to warn you that you have a notification, I would assume. Anyways, the G Central website also had another article about some guards for Her Majesty, the Queen. Well, I guess it's not Her Majesty anymore, right? His Majesty King. I forget his name. I'm sorry. I'm American. I don't keep track of the royalty. there's a brigade. I don't know if you call them a brigade, a unit dedicated to guarding royalty, Windsor Palace, right? Yes, Windsor Castle. And this guy named Andrew shared some photos of the Royal Protection Officers wearing the G-Shock GMB 2100 in the line of duty. And he sent them into G Central, who published them. And this watch looks really cool, okay? The GMB 2100, like, I don't know if it gets as much respect as it deserves, you know, for being like a metal watch with a metal band, but still being a G-Shock, very rugged and really stylish. And these guys wearing it, these members of the Royal Guard, the Royal Protection Officers, it matches their whole uniform really well because this is a gunmetal colored watch. And of course, they're armed with, what are those, HK? The P9s? MP5? I know some of you guys are firearms experts, but I believe that those are, 9mm carbines. But it matches beautifully. Like it's aptly named gunmetal, right? It's all blued out, and their special edition watches are etched with the Union Jack on the clasp and in some type of insignia on the bracelet, XIV, which are Roman numerals. And the author at G Central guessed that they would be for Unit 14, SO 14 Royalty Protection Group, okay, which is part of the Metropolitan Police Services Protection Command in London, right? So is it safe to call them bobbies? I don't know, but that watch looks really cool. So, and the back also has I don't know if that's like Big Ben or something. Maybe that's Windsor Palace. I guess it would make more sense. But man, that, like, just seeing that watch in the wild like that with this military style get up, like it just looks fantastic. And I did try on a gunmetal GMB 2100 at the mall, and I was so close to buying it. Like, it was just a total impulse buy, and it just looks great. And so check that out on gcentral.com. And maybe one day we'll have the opportunity to take a closer look at the PRW 6900, because there's more iterations of the PRW 6900, which is another PROTREK watch. Like I said, the first generation had the leather band, and but then ensuing generations, they offered this watch with a rubber, like a poly. Is it polyurethane? I don't even know what it's made out of. What does it say? I don't know, but it's plastic. It's a nice thick plastic that they have on the PROTREK watches. All right, and then the GA 2300. I don't think it's been released in the United States yet. This is a watch that of a G-Shock watch that has been released internationally, and the British got their own color scheme, the gray color scheme with the contrasting color on the hands. All right. Oh, and one other thing, in the comments of one of my videos, George G was asking for an update on the Rangeman, the GPR H1000, and so far so good. All right, it hasn't gotten loose yet. Seems to be all right. I'm not like tough testing it, but I'm just keeping an eye on it to see if the screws are staying put. And when I take it off, I wiggle the band in order to see if there's any play. And like, maybe I look at it too long and wiggle it too much. It looks like there's a little bit. Yeah, there's a little bit coming back. And kind of like I wiggle it like this. Sorry, my light died, those of you watching. But I wiggle it by holding the case and just wiggling the band. And it looks like a little bit of plays coming back in. I don't know. We'll see. I'll give it another week, and we'll check back in. And who knows? Maybe I'll have to get back in touch with Casio and see what's up. But so I did get another watch that I unboxed last week. Let me find it. It is the WS-B001, and this is a step counting watch that's a lot like the G-Shock GDB 500 that came out recently. And so I'm going to test this one out a little more with all the step counting and Bluetooth connectivity. So stay tuned for that review. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except through him.